Alright, another multi-tool showdown here today. Today we're going to be comparing the Leatherman Charge TTI with the Victorinox, I think this is the Swisstool Spirit X. Right off the bat, these are the cases that both multi-tools come in. The Leatherman has this kind of nylon case, Velcro, close, clasp, and belt loop. Similar style case with the belt loop, but this one's made out of like a full grain leather for on the Spirit Tool X here. So obviously a much nicer case that you get, or belt clip that you get with this multi-tool. Though I do think they cheapen it a little bit with Velcro. I'd like to see a button clasp or something like that. Anyway, cases really, I don't find them that important. I think that the multi-tools should speak for themselves. Let's just run down the list here and start off comparing the main attraction in a multi-tool as far as I'm concerned, which is the pliers. So, you know, everybody knows quality pair of pliers in the Leatherman. That's always nice. And then the Swisstool here, also very high quality pair of pliers. I really don't see any main disadvantage that the Swisstool has over the Leatherman. So if that's what you're looking for, a pair of pliers, there's no concern there. They're both great. So let's just cut some wire. There is a notch in the Swisstool, I'm not sure if you can see, that aids with wire stripping. It works pretty well. You just kind of half bite and then pull, and you got yourself a nice stripped wire. And then it cuts that wire also very beautifully. That's a nice snip it has. Same with the Leatherman. There is a notch in the Leatherman, but it's designed more to cut hard wire, so it's not sharp. That's like a stopgap. So, but you can still do a friction, or not a friction type, but a little bite and pull with the Leatherman. It's not quite as easy because it doesn't have a notch. But obviously you still strip wire with a little bit of skill there, and then cut wire as well. Both cut very nicely, at least soft wire. So here's a machine screw. I think this is a number 6. Let's just try and cut it, see what happens. Okay, I have to edit that out. That seemed pretty hard. Okay. Leatherman got it. Let's try again with this guy here.
Band card. Okay. It's cutting, but it's a little harder. Alright, so I can't get through this. I'm gonna do it. Hold on.
Alright, well that shot off somewhere in the back. Whatever. I cut it though. Let's run down some of the other tools. You can be the judge of what pliers you thought was better, and those two very scientific tests I just conducted. All right, let's compare the knives here. Right off the bat, there is no serrated knife in this Swisstool, so we'll just have to compare fine edge knives. Getting the knife out of the tool, you have to use a fingernail to pry it out, which is a disadvantage compared to the way Leatherman does it, where it's accessible through this little thumb bite. You just kind of get in there and you can swing it out one-handed, so that's really nice. I think Leatherman definitely scores a point there. And then the next area that Leatherman probably scores a point in is just how cool their knife looks compared to the Swiss knife. I mean, come on, this is just a really cool looking knife. Now you might think that the Leatherman knife is sharper or more sharp than this knife, just because of like how cool it looks. But if that was the case, you know, you'd be dead wrong, because this knife is extremely sharp on this Swiss multi-tool. It just has a beautiful, beautiful edge. You're gonna have to take my word for it, because I don't have anything to cut here. It'd be nice to carve a little piece of wood or something like that. Here, we'll do. This is really lame. Let's just cut it. It's just a really sharp knife. You have to cut with it to kind of really feel how well it cuts. But trust me, take my word for it that it's definitely sharp. You know, at least just as sharp as the Leatherman knife. You know, Leatherman. Everybody. You know, I say everybody, but I'm sure a lot of us know how quality how high quality and edge they put on these Leatherman knives, and I would say that the Victorinox guys, they know what they're doing too. So these knives are about the same length. There's a little bit longer, a little bit more cutting edge on the Leatherman knife versus the Swiss knife, but they're both very comfortable to hold and use. So saws. This is something that a lot of people probably discount and think that, oh man, a saw on a multi-tool, that's probably a piece of junk. Well, there's another instance in which you would be dead wrong, because these saws are fantastic. I've never personally used the Victorinox saw. Like I said, this tool is brand new to me. But as for the Leatherman Charge saw, I have used the one on my Leatherman Wave, which is the same exact saw. And they're just fantastic. They have like kind of a triple point or triple bevel grind, where there's 3 facets on which the saw teeth are ground, which just makes them cut really efficiently. And you see that also here in this this Spirit X Victorinox multi-tool. 2 fantastic saws. I have not cut with this Swiss saw, but just feeling it with my fingertips and my experience with saws and examining the blade, I know that it is just as good, if not better, than the Leatherman saw. So I'm going to say they're both tied in this aspect. Let's compare the screwdrivers that we find in these tools. Again, getting out the Phillips point driver. We'll look at that first. I'm going to just go ahead and give it away right now. I think Leatherman wins here. And they win because of the choice they made with their approach to the problem of putting a screwdriver inside of a multi-tool. Just looking at the Phillips driver, this is the slotted head screw. But there you go, just get, it's a bit driver on the Leatherman. You can pull it out and replace it. So when this Phillips head point wears down, or gets rounded, or is damaged, I can order a replacement. Whereas with this Swisstool, I'm kind of stuck with it. Let's see. There's a screw up here where the light is. That was pretty good, taking that out. Felt very firm. I wasn't in any danger of camming out while turning this screw. Let's just drive it back in with the Leatherman. Focus. All right. So there you go. That's my review of the Phillips bit. Slotted screws are boring. They're kind of always the same. You don't really ever have any trouble with those. There's a slotted screwdriver on this. It's built in. There's a small one that's built into the can opener, as with all Swiss multi-tools. You see that a lot, or at least all Victorinox. There does appear to be another small slotted screwdriver here, and I think there is a large slotted screwdriver on the bottle opener. So you have an accoutrement of slotted screws you can service with this screwdriver. They're on the Victorinox Swiss multi-tool. You're not going to be wanting for slotted screwdrivers there. They're available. On the Leatherman, you have the slotted bit screwdriver. You have a precision screwdriver, if I can get my fingernail in there. It's like a jeweler's size. Very small screwdriver. So the Leatherman does get smaller in terms of screwdrivers than the Swiss multi-tool. So you have a small slotted screwdriver there. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's very small, very precise. And again, it can be reversed to the Phillips side. There is no small Phillips. This is like a 00 or 000 Phillips here on this this precision screwdriver. There is no equivalent on the Victorinox Swiss multi-tool. That's, I guess, a little bit of a drawback. I would say that Leatherman probably wins in the screwdriver space, though you're not really at a huge disadvantage with this Swiss multi-tool. So there you go. You can be the judge there of that again. All right, the next tools I want to talk about here are the files. A lot of people say that this Leatherman file is fantastic because the diamond side of it. They love, people on the internet and forums I've read say they like the diamond file. It's good for sharpening things or tuning up an axe or like another knife edge or something like that. And like, if you're camping or that sort of nature, they think the diamond file is worth something for there. And I can't really argue against that. I'm sure it's a great little diamond file. I've never personally used it to sharpen anything. I've never really used the diamond file for much of anything. But I have tried to use the toothy file on the other side of the diamond file on these Leathermans, and I can say with certainty that this file is just about worthless. I mean, even on softwood like this clothespin, the file is just gliding over the wood, and that's just because there's really no aggressive cut to the teeth of this file. They're just kind of smooth and rounded over. I mean, it's more of a nail file than anything else, and yeah, this is doing a pretty good job to file my nails. So there you go. That's actually its purpose. It's a nail file. Good job. Fantastic. That's really what I'm looking for in a multi-tool. Yeah, on opposite day. That's lame. But looking at the file offering in the Victorinox multi-tool, I mean, there's just no. It's just so much better. The cut of the teeth is just so much more aggressive. It's sharp. It's hard. It's just like a great little file. And using it, like, you hear the difference. I mean, I'm really cutting this wood. And this is soft wood, but it doesn't matter because this file just actually has teeth. And I mean, I've produced sawdust. So that's something I can't do with this Leatherman file as efficiently. If I really push down, it's cutting a little bit, but for the most part, it just glides over the wood. So, yeah, maybe in a pinch, this can help you out if you need to take a splinter out of a board, or you're hanging a door or something like that, and you want to just, you gotta, I don't know, whatever. I mean, the Swiss file is just light years ahead of the Leatherman file in terms of its effectiveness. So, the last category of tools, which I'm just going to say is like accessories, things that aren't core to a multi-tool, but may be core to, well, I guess, I mean, they're going to be found in multi-tools, but they're not really what I come here looking for. Leatherman, so the Leatherman, let's just look at their can opener / bottle opener. This is a combination can opener, bottle opener. The way this tip is, it kind of punctures the bottle cap as you open the beer or soda bottle. So, if you like to save bottle caps, that's not that great. That'll ruin it. Your bottle cap that you're trying to save. This is the bottle opener on the Swisstool, and then there is a separate can opener, which I'll just bring them both out at the same time. So, I've used these Swiss Army can openers a lot. You're moving and all you have is a Swiss Army knife with you because everything else is packed up. You don't know where your bottle opener is, your can opener. And so I've actually, there have been periods of time where I've used these for days to open cans, and I find that they work very well. I have used the Leatherman to open a can once, and I was kind of struggling with it, and I didn't really revisit the topic again after that. So, I mean, I know that they both work in a pinch, but, who cares? They're can openers. You already have a can opener somewhere else in your life, I'm sure. In a pinch, you can use it, but, bottle opener here is a bottle opener. This will bend bottle caps as you open them, so, you're still ruining bottle caps. If you care about saving bottle caps, get a different style of bottle opener. If you're like normal people and you don't care about ruining bottle caps, then both of these will open bottles. So, that's good. Miscellaneous tools in the Leatherman. Let's see. I'm not seeing. There's a pry bar style thing here. I guess this is more of a large slotted screwdriver. I think it makes a nice pry bar as well. But that's pretty much it. Those are all your tools in the Leatherman. There is one tool I want to mention specifically in this Victorinox Swiss multi-tool, and that's this tiny chisel. It's just like a little chisel tip blade. It's very sharp. There is a notch right here too, and then there is some sort of rope cutting notch here, wire stripper. But I think that this is a great little chisel. It's very nice for chiseling, and it's pretty sharp too. So I think this is a nice little bonus tool that you don't find in the Leathermans. And I like chisels. I think they're very useful. I wouldn't feel bad, tapping on the end of this with a hammer as you chisel. I think this lockup is pretty secure enough that you could use it. Though you could also just push cut if you were using it. So chisel, sticker scraper, whatever you want to call it. Very nice little added tool. One more thing I will mention about the pliers here is just the finish of the pliers is a lot nicer in the Swisstool, you see that they kind of swing freely, which just makes them feel a lot nicer in your hand to use, versus the Leatherman pliers, which the joint doesn't quite move as smoothly. Not a big deal. The other thing is the shape of the pliers in the Victorinox Swiss multi-tool is kind of belled. You can see like the belled shape, and that only comes into play when you're cutting something. It's so you don't pinch. You don't pinch this area of your palm as the jaws kind of slam shut. There is a danger of that happening with these Leatherman multi-tools, just because of the way these two knife tops meet together there. It doesn't always give enough clearance for the meaty part of your hand, where at least my hand finds a way to get in there and get a nice pinch out of that. So that's just one thing to watch out for. I think these are a little nicer, just for the way the jaws are designed as a pair of pliers. Just slightly, just a slight cut above the Leatherman there. And yeah, so no, take that for what it is.